You might not believe in astrology yet because maybe you think it's just a generic way of generalizing people and putting them into a box of 12 astrology signs. I'm here to tell you that maybe you don't know that there is a full astrology chart that you can find based on not just your day and month of birth, but also your time of birth and your place of birth. So it's a very, very specific chart based on your own specific birth. Let me know in the comments, what is your sun sign? And also, do you know your moon sign? Do you know your rising? I would love to know. Please comment down below. Astrology is something that people dismiss easily, but remember that the moon also affects tides and it affects water here on Earth. And since humans are mostly made of water, that just gives you a little glimpse into the kind of power that the astrological aspects can have on us.
The universe. What a concept.
There are studies that show that if you are born in a certain season of the year, it actually affects you long term. It affects your DNA. So who's to say that we're not affected by the planets above us?
You know what I'm saying?
All the elements of the universe probably have a really strong effect on us that we probably don't even know. Let's not completely dismiss astrology, and let's remember that this is an art form that was used by our ancestors to determine the type of temperature, the agriculture, and the personalities that they're dealing with for trade purposes. So it's very fascinating to learn about. Subscribe and hit the bell icon so that I know that you want more videos like that, because astrology will not let me know that you like these videos unless you do. So today we're going to look at Donald Trump's astrology chart and make assumptions about his ambitions and abilities based on his time and birth of place.
President Donald Trump knows how to make America great.
He has his sun in Gemini, moon in Sagittarius, rising in Leo, Mars in Leo, Venus in Cancer, Mercury in Cancer, Jupiter in Libra, and Saturn in Cancer. We can look at our own charts and look up our own placements, and maybe that will help you understand yourself better as well. In astrology, the sun represents the core of our personality and the way that we are on the inside. For Trump, his sun is in Gemini, and this means, surprise, he's a chatterbox. Gemini are known for being charming and for talking a lot, but as much as they're good at communication, they're also really good at giving mixed messages. They might say one thing and then flip it upside down the next minute.
But Mr. Trump, you're not a nice person. That's true. But actually I am.
Gemini can be indecisive. They don't actually know that they're indecisive. They think that they're super decisive and coherent when they're not. Just classic Gemini behavior. The moon represents our emotional state and how we deal with emotions. And for Trump, his moon is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius moon are blunt and they have no filter. This means that they feel things very deeply and passionately, and they also reflect them to other people. Sagittarius moon are the kind of people that jump to conclusions and ask questions later, or they just may never ask the questions, just jump straight to the conclusion. Sagittarius moon also values their freedom, and nothing gets under their skin more than being told what to do. If you have moon in Sagittarius friends, then expect bold opinions and a lot of controversial moments. Basically, Moon Sagittarius are the kind of people that will push a red button just because you told them not to.
What does this button do?
In astrology, the rising represents the way that we project ourselves into the world. And for Trump, his rising is in a Leo. That just might answer all the questions you ever had about Donald Trump, because having a Leo rising basically means that you want to enter the room and be the king of the jungle. Leo rising believe that they should own everything. This star placement gives him natural desire to command the room and make himself known to everybody. Leo rising people are all about image. They want to be admired admired, adored, and even worshipped. But if the admiration is not flowing well, then they can get upset. Trump is basically the definition of Leo rising. But the downside to that is that there is an ego overload. Leo rising people need to learn a lot of humility. Mars represents our drive and the way in which we're motivated. And oh boy, Trump's Mars is also in Leo. That means that when he wants something, he doesn't just want it, he demands it. And even when a Leo Mars gets what they wanted, it's not just about getting it, it's about making a huge impression on others while getting it. They are all about big gestures like building skyscrapers and making lavish parties or being on TV. Basically, being subtle is not in their vocabulary. But of course, there is always a downside, and the downside of Mars and Leo is that they hate losing, but so much so that they will literally have a temper tantrum just because they didn't get their way, and that can make them look ugly to other people. In astrology, Venus represents relationships and the way that we perceive beauty. For Trump, his Venus is in Cancer. Venus and Cancer are the type of people who really care about family, relationships, and their love language is nurturing and showing care for others. So it might surprise you to know that underneath all that bravado, they're the type of person who will bring you a blanket because you said it's a little cold. But Cancer can be too clingy and can be too controlling in their loving gestures. It's almost like their desire to be helpful and to be loving is overwhelming. Also, Venus and Cancer are easily offended, and they will give you the silent treatment for a long period of time because of a small mistake, and you might not even know what it was. Venus and Cancer are pros at holding grudges. Like, they could hold a grudge against you for 15 years, and they might not even remember why. In astrology, Mercury represents the way that we communicate with others. Trump's Mercury is also in Cancer. This means that Trump's communication style is the emotional type, meaning that they use your emotions in order to manipulate the conversation in a way that will communicate an idea best to you, which means that their communication style is all about intuition and gut feeling. Mercury in Cancer plays off of emotions and storytelling when it comes to communication. But the downside of Mercury in Cancer is that they are very protective of themselves when they're being criticized. They feel like if they're feeling something, then it's 100% true. And sometimes they might not even see that.
Are you ready? Can I talk?
In astrology, Jupiter represents expansion and how we can grow in life. Trump's Jupiter is in Libra. That means that he has a strong sense of public image and he can grow through his public image. Libra is all about charm and their inner ability to attract other people to themselves. It's like their whole life is a marketing campaign and they are the product, complete with catchphrases and sound bits. But Jupiter in Libra can be superficial. They might value appearance a bit too much and brush up the details that make life authentic under the rug just because it's not what looks good or what presents well. Astrology, Saturn represents our discipline. Trump's Saturn is in Cancer. Saturn is an interesting planet to look at because it also represents the things that we've overcome. And having Cancer in Saturn means that there is a lot of emotional baggage there. This placement struggles with expressing vulnerability. And when they do express their vulnerability, it comes out as grumpiness. Saturn in Cancer means that they have a hard time feeling safe. These types of people build very emotionally high walls that other people need to overcome. So needless to say, this placement has a lot of trust issues.
You're fired. Get out of here. All fired.
So do you have any placements in your chart that are similar? Let me know in the comments, and also let me know who you want me to make a video about next, because I would love to know and I will make it
just for you, because I care about you having the best astrology content there is.
You're fired.